Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening podcast, and today is an episode number 44. Welcome back to this episode, and welcome if you're new here and trying to discover what is happening in this Twin Flame connection. In today's episode, we will have a guest post, and also I would like to dive into that we always talk about, to find solutions, what to do, how to do, but we never actually talk about what is okay to feel. Twin flame connection is intense. It's something that shakes you from the core and your life is no longer the same. But at the end of the day, we are still humans as well. Even though, yes, it's our spiritual awakening, we shouldn't forget that there are emotions, there are feelings, there are days when everything is not sunshine and rainbows. Everything can be hard. And today I really would like to dive into this topic just for the fact that realizing that you're not alone and what you're feeling and what you're going through is actually okay. So I will be doing this in between the guest story and now on. So as you know, my podcasts are quite long, so just put it on, take a moment, and I hope it will help you. I hope it will help you to realize that you're not crazy, that you met your soul in another human body. And now all you can do is to think about it, feel about it, and wondering if you could ever live the life the way you had it before that encounter. I know that it's difficult to go back where you were. At the same time, you should not. But the first thing is, I would like to say that it's okay to feel some of the days good and some of the days not so good about it. Regardless how much we are meditating, we are going through, let's say, Reiki, we're doing breath work, we're doing all of that, there are days where we just feel like, oh my God, is it ever gonna end? I just cannot. Today I woke up and the first thing in my head was my twin flame. The whole day I was checking on my phone, or I was trying to see what is happening. I'm wondering what she or he is doing, and I just simply cannot get my mind off of it. And that's okay. That's really okay, because I want to assure you that you're not alone there. There are days where you feel like you're mastering this. There are days where you feel like, wow, I'm doing so well today and everything just goes with the flow and I am in a good place today, and I see this connection from there. I understand it's a spiritual awakening. I understand to go within. I see the power of myself. I see everything. And there can be a day where you don't feel like this at all. You feel like it's an endless loop and you're wondering, can I step off of this train? Can it stop? Because I cannot no longer. Why I'm talking about it, these feelings that it's okay to feel, because we are thinking that we will solve this connection within a short period of time. That once we enter, once we go through separation, and then comes the union. It's called journey for a reason. The journey is long, or hopefully long, and we have to take each day step by step. Whatever we come across with, whatever we going to feel and see, it's right now and right now here. You should not hide these feelings. And I'm going to give you an example what you could do when you're feeling on these days that, is it ever going to stop? I want it to stop. Is that you really brutally write out honestly, what do you feel on this day? what do you feel, what you would like to say to your twin flame? What are these feelings, emotions, these things that you would be like, I'm gonna say this out. It's time for me to say this out. So I just wanted that we are realizing that when we are entering into this journey, it's not going to be solved quickly. We need to be aware that all we have is now. So that's why I recommend you to read Power of Now. The links are here in bio as well if those who want to listen. The Power of Now helps you to realize it's okay. You have right now. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, it's okay. And the more we release it, the easier it becomes. But it doesn't mean that your all day is going to be like sunshine and rainbows. Especially in this connection where you're feeling another human being inside of your system. Their soul is connecting with you. The soul is talking to you. Their soul is so connected. Before we're going to dive into the story, I say another things. That feelings such as how long it's going to take. Is it ever going to end? The days where you have like this, that I want this to stop. I don't want this to be anymore. It's too intense. I wake up, I see him or her. I go to sleep, I see him, her. Then he's in my dreams. I just say he in the fact that I know I have more female listeners, but also for all my kind male listeners, it's the same thing. She is everywhere around you. The synchronicities, the universe is talking to you. Then you are listening to the twin flame. So it's so much to take into your system. And you're wondering if it's ever going to end. I want to get out of here. I just want to sleep. I just want to be. I don't want to feel any of these things. And that's okay to feel like that. Especially when your twin flame is going through a dark night of the soul and spiritual awakening. You feel that. And that's draining. That's very draining. And that's the moment where you don't understand how long it's going to be. When I will live my life like I used to. Well, I don't think you will ever live your life like you used to. There is definitely, once you are on your journey, once you're aligned with your soul, there's this kind of sense of purpose and you feel like you're flowing and you're attracting a lot of things. That's what I've been talking about on my podcast. That was why for me twin flames is to become a higher self, not in a way of love, romantic relationship, but to become your higher self, that you attract the energies, that you attract beautiful things in your life, that you feel like you're going with the flow, that you are alive, as many of us are still asleep and not alive. And also, this is why today I'm talking about that it's okay to feel like this. Because I know that every time when we have group calls and so on, we always try to give like, yes, do this, do that, and that's okay. We need to give advice what to do. I have a full podcast filled with advice what to do. But I also think it's okay to allow yourself to feel that. As at the end of the day, we are still human beings and we are having a human experience. We're not robots who are having a soul or something. We are human beings. We have emotions, we have feelings, we have these desires and dreams. Even though our soul is in a union. Our soul is like, wow, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. But then you look at your 3D life and you're asking yourself like, how can I do this? I have my husband or my wife. I have beautiful children. Or I have my partner. Or my twin flame has all of that. I don't want to be the one who goes in between and ruins it. But then here I am, in between two worlds. So feeling these emotions and talking about it and letting them out is important. And not because, not because you want to do something bad. Let's say if you're twin flames in a marriage and you are not, and so on and so on. It's about you accepting that I can't get out of this. Even though as much as I try, I can't get out of it. And so here I'm just about to say, for those who feel like they need to talk about it, they need to share about it, but no one understands them, the consultation calls are available. The links are in bio. Or you can join our group calls. I just really want to say that it's nothing you should feel that you should avoid it. When there is a day where you feel like crap, when it's going to end, when is he or she is coming back? I need this person. I need to talk to this person. I have never felt more alive. Then it's okay. There comes a day where you're realizing what you should do next. But also don't try to avoid it. Don't try to avoid this vulnerable part of you that says, but I need this person. I want to be in a union. I want to live together. I want to have it all. Because it makes me alive. So I hope that's just an overview. I'll say it in the between of the story as well, a couple of other things, which is okay, but I also read the story because it might link to what I'm talking today. So today we have a story. While I'm starting to write this email, it's 11:11 here. Not that I planned this, but I just noticed. Anyways, I started listening to your podcast regularly about 2 weeks ago, and I'm really enjoying it. It makes me feel less crazy in a way. I enjoy your insights, and it is really helping me to get the clarity in this entire mess. To be fair, I have been a bit in and out of various twin flame communities, feeling that so much resonates and it's the only thing that seems to make sense right now. But then again, doubting it all and feeling like I shouldn't feed my mind with it. I stop here and I'm just gonna say that doubt is a very big part of that, and allowing to have this doubt to be there as well. When first of all, twin flames, that concept that everything is insane. How come all of a sudden our soul happens to be living in another body and now I met and all my soul wants is to be with that person? While there are 3D factors in between. Why didn't I meet my twin flame before? Or why did I meet now? This doubt of all the time, like why now? And when it's going to end? I'm just having a good thing, some of you who have listened. First of all, the earlier we accept we are on that journey, the easier it becomes. And second of all, it will never end. In that terms, now you're connected. This connection is there. So all we have to do is to accept. But having a days where you doubt about it, again, very normal. Very normal. And allow yourself to doubt about it. Allow yourself to be in a moment like, well, this is crap. I don't want to feel this way. It's going to end. I'm sure it's going to end. I'll give it another month, 2. I'm going to go, let's say, date. I'm going to see people. It's going to end. Well, it's not. But doubting about it is good, because then you come closer to the God, to the universe. When you ask the sign from the universe, are you on that journey? And you get it. I know that those who have done the course with me, and I always pick up their energy number, what the universe is trying to tell them, what is their next step. And then I always tell them now, because I used to tell them, yes, you are on the twin flame journey. But now I'm like, no, it's not me. It's you. Because the moment you see that sign, you know that. And then there is no one else who can take this away from you. And this journey is intense and insane. Absolutely. I'll continue the story. So I felt drawn to share my story now, also because I feel like I'm going mad. I've spoken to people about it here and there, but I'm also just very aware how crazy most of it sounds. So I either filter it and edit it or realize that unless you have gone through it, you really don't get it. It's also a terribly long story, but I will try my best here. So here it goes. I was born on the 26th of June, 1987, and my twin flame was born on the 29th of September, 1980. I grew up as an only child, but I always wished for a twin sister and wanted to have twin babies, boy and a girl, forever. That was until I had my first child. I recently heard you speak about this in one of your episodes and it really hit me. I was born and grew up in Europe, but came to Australia in 2007, and after some further travels settled down here at the end of 2008, shortly after which I met my now husband. We had a whirlwind romance, moved in together after 3 months and got married after 6 months. After issues with my visa started to appear, we tried all other avenues, but nothing seems to work, so we decided to get married. I loved my husband, and for me that point in time, it was very much I want to stay in this country and I want to see where this is going. I want to stay together. So we developed in April 2009. I was happy. Everything seems to be going great in my life. I just got accepted into university as well, and I was really in love. About 2 months later, I walked towards a busy train station in the middle of the city center. You can imagine the amount of people passing me by. But all of a sudden there was this guy walking on the other side. We locked eyes instantly. It was strange and incredibly intense. We walked past each other and there were so many people in between us as well. As soon as he passed, the first legible thought that came to me was, he was a good looking. I continued walking with a smile on my face and slightly confused, as someone tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and looked straight into his smiling face. It was a shy smile, slightly embarrassed. And he asked me if he could have my number. The first thing that I said in shock was, I'm married. Damn, he responded, drawing slightly away. I remember I thought it was an awfully strong reaction. I accepted him to just say, oh, okay, no worries, have a nice day, and walk off, but he didn't let go. He looked at my hand and noticed I wasn't wearing an engagement or wedding ring. I explained that we're still getting them. He even said, like, really? Why? Because of the visa? I would have married you. It was a strange conversation to have with a stranger. He knew nothing about me, yet, at the same time, as soon as we stood opposite each other, locked eyes again and started talking, I was getting all kinds of vision and things that just came to me. I couldn't explain any of it. At the same time I knew, at that very first moment, that he was the end of my marriage. I knew he was going to play a big role in my life, and I saw visions of us after being intimate with each other and asking me specific questions. I remember I had no idea what the heck was just happening, and I thought, where the heck is all of this coming from? You're newly and happily married, for goodness sake. Get this out of your mind. We continued chatting for a little while, and at some point in time, he held me by the arm and guided me to the side. He was worried about people looking at us as they think he's picking me up. After a few minutes, he said, "Whatever, doesn't matter. Give me your number anyways. Maybe we could catch up for a coffee sometime." I don't know why, but I agreed and gave him my number. I've never ever given any other man my number like this after getting married. It was like out of my control. I just couldn't help it. At the same time, I thought he would never call or text anyways. That's just too crazy. And who knows how many girls he picks up at the train station like this anyways. I want to stop here to bring in a little bit of a 3D aspect or something like this. When I first came across with that, and of course, like I say, before Twin Flames, I never dated really anybody apart from my husband. It wasn't really my thing. I kind of been always very protective towards my energy, so that's why for me, let's say, meeting random men or something like this was not my thing. Anyways, when I first, my twin flame did pretty much the same thing, started talking, and then I came across, like, of course, because you're trying to find some answers for it, like how come a stranger or something comes. And I remember I came across with the fact that, girls, don't blame yourself if you're coming across with a man, who is asking arrogantly your number and, is the guy who is going out there and so on, because he must be doing that all the time. And so that's why he has a lot of girls and you're not the only one, and so on and so on, which obviously put me into the loop of thinking like, well, I think it's common for him to do so. So it's fine, like that's why I have spoken in my previous episodes that's why I was really resistant towards it, because I thought, well, for him, I was just another girl to find, and he finds all of them all the time. And, because the way he approached me, that he found my number from this WhatsApp group and he started to talk to me and so on and so on. Until, of course, we had a conversation, because I'm in a pretty good contact with my twin flame. And he said that once I made a joke, I said, "When are you getting married?" And he said, "I don't know. Maybe you are the woman I'm going to get married with." And I said, "Well, yeah, definitely." And just a laugh emoji. And he said, "You know that I never had a connection like that with anybody in this world. And it's very hard for me to find someone." And I said, "Well, you don't have to lie to me. You're a handsome, good-looking guy, young, I'm sure you have a lot of girlfriends, so you don't have to lie to me. I'm okay with that because you know about my life, so it's okay." And he said, I have literally nobody. Since I met you, I've never, ever felt anything like that. And now I know my listeners will be like, "Well, we both are feeling, you both are understanding. Why you're not together?" Well, I will explain about that on one of the episodes in depth, why and what's the difference. But hearing that made me to realize that not everything what we read and everything we think on internet is the truth. And when we trust ourselves, actually, when we trust our soul, and here is why, again, I have tokens, like my main goal is with my consultation calls and the guidance is to help you to become a higher self. This is my main goal, because when you are your higher self, you hear your soul, and when your soul speaks to you, you make right decisions. You make decisions that serve you in a good way. If you are not aligned with your soul, you have a mind that comes in and manipulates the reality for you. So becoming a higher self is essential in that journey. But I continue. But I wanted, because she had the same point that, picking up many other girls and so on and so on. We parted, but my mind was racing. What just happened? My logical brain was in stark contrast and conflict with my intuition. I could see images and hear voices all of a sudden, all about him and us, and my mind tried to suppress them. Nonsense! Don't be silly! All at the same, I felt. If something was going to happen, it would happen within the year. And I remember thinking about my visa and how I will lose if I leave my husband. None of these thoughts, visions, voices made any sense, and they were incredibly overwhelming. Here again, I want to stop because today we are talking about things to feel. And these are overwhelming feelings and everything. Because all of a sudden you hear things, you see things, you get downloads. Everything becomes like so intense. And you're really thinking you are going crazy. And that's okay to feel that you're going crazy. Because it's something that is not in this world. It's out of this world. I continue. I know I had crossed the boundary and done something wrong. So at home I told my husband about the encounter on a very basic level. It's just that this guy outside the train station asked me for a number. I didn't, however, tell him that I gave him his number. Nothing happened for about 2 weeks when I got a text from him. My heart started racing. I could not believe he was actually texting me. I was worried, but I could not reply. Ever since we were texting on and off at times. They were just casual texts, nothing more than you would exchange between friends. They also were very sporadic. Later on, I found out that he had a son some months after we met, with his ex. She was already pregnant by the time we met, but he didn't know about it, as she kept his secret for long. They were separated for some time, but had a random night, which resulted in a baby boy. I also know that they were in and on and off again, relationship for quite some time, trying to make it work for their son. He only told this to me in more recent times. Meanwhile, I was busy with studies, setting up our first home and my husband. We, however, added each other on Facebook, and I remember going through his pictures, just staring at them, and part of me felt that there will be a time for us, though it never made sense to me that time. In 2011, 3 years later, we finally caught up for a coffee. He initiated some text again and mentioned that we should catch up. I agreed nervously and excitedly at the same time. We met at the busy shopping center near my university for an hour between my lectures. I remember walking into the shopping center to meet him, and my body was just tingling and my mind was racing. What the heck are you doing? Why are you even going to meet him? You shouldn't be doing this. But I couldn't help it. An invisible force pushed me to see him. It always felt like it wasn't in my control, and unlike anything I have ever experienced before. We met up and had a chat. He said something along the lines that he missed me even, and few other things, which I largely chose to ignore. I knew I couldn't start anything with him. I was married, for crying out loud, but I felt incredibly drawn to him. At some point in time, he said something that I was too skinny. I had lost a fair bit of weight since we first met. He now corrected that he never meant in a bad way, but I took that statement, and when we parted, I said to myself, "See, nothing happened, it's all good, I'm too skinny for him now anyways, I'm not his type anymore, he likes a little bit more chubby girls." I took that statement to justify we could never be together, and there was nothing there. Years went by and I had 2 boys born in 2014 and 2016. Me and my husband moved houses several times, staying in the same city though, working, doing our thing. Our marriage was just good, and he always been a great father as well. Of course we had our ups and downs, but in a grand scale it wasn't bad. Me and my twin, however, stayed in touch, very sporadic. He would usually message me once a year or every second year. We would have a brief exchange and would disappear again. I never ever initiated the contact. It was always him. And when I didn't hear from him more than a year, I always thought it was for the better. He moved to the United States for some time and messaged me from there. Or another time I was in Europe with my family and he would reach out again. Every time, still feeling the butterflies instantly. I never could explain that and tried to stay as far from him as possible, not giving him too much short messages. At the same time, I could never completely ignore him or stay away. It was like a magnet. Here is another point I want to say. Based on what we are feeling in this connection and what is going on with us. Even if you can see from here, the time is going on, the time is passing, but we still have that feeling. We still have that magnetic feeling when we start talking, when we have this conversation that, what is that? I can't just stop it. I need that. It's something that makes me feel good. So we can't control that. You can see that over the time, it doesn't disappear, no matter how much you're trying to go on with a 3D life. And I'm not saying that divorce, all of that are answers. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that this connection is so profound. It's deep inside of you, deep in your soul, and it's always there. And it will never go away. So I'll continue. It was 2020, and I haven't heard from him like 3-4 years. He sometimes popped into my mind, and I thought to myself, he must have found someone, and he's happy now. It is better that way, and I am happy for him. I was just finished up my work and starting to do my own business in the middle of the COVID, when suddenly he messaged me on 23/06/2020. Hello, stranger. I was so shocked to hear from him again, and my heart started racing instantly. I couldn't reply. So we started talking again, and even a bit more than usual. Told him about my business, and he told me that he's back in the country, but moved to a more regional area. We talked a bit on the next few months, and he brought up that we should meet up again. I agreed that we could have coffee when he's next time in town. A few months later in September, he messaged me that he was coming to Sydney and if he could meet. I initially and very casually agreed, but it was during school holidays and I ended up cancelling before that I couldn't come because of the kids. I was also pregnant at that point in time, which he didn't know. It was a surprise for us as well, and it was just shortly after we found out I still got to terms with it all. Sadly, the pregnancy didn't go as planned. On the 2nd of January 2021, I gave birth to a tiny baby boy, halfway through the pregnancy. It shattered my entire world. Everything leading up to the birth from the 1st of December till months later was a massive nightmare. There were all kinds of complications, endless hospital visits, and I even ended up in emergency, twice following birth and needing surgery. My heart and soul and body were broken into millions pieces. I couldn't make sense of anything anymore, and my entire world just collapsed. My husband and I dealt very differently with the grief. I got myself some support, starting sharing my story openly and honoring the baby in every way possible. But my husband instead shut down. I can't, it's... Sorry. Just a minute. This was the time where my spiritual awakening started to take full-blown force. I started to reconnect with my spiritual side, which I have long denied. Started to go into Reiki, did a lot of meditations, lots of readings, got into crystals, and so on. I realized I wasn't happy in my marriage, and I haven't been in a long time. By May, I told my husband that I'm not leaving him right now, but that I feel like getting out. It was a total shock to him. He said he never thought about it. He had some tough discussion, but nothing eventuated from it. We didn't see a counselor together or change it in a way. We just went on as usual. It was September 2021, and all of a sudden I got this massive energy from my twin. I didn't know what was happening to me. We haven't spoken for a year, but all of a sudden he seems to be everywhere. I could literally sense him. Every time I sat on the couch, I could feel him, and if he was sitting right next to me. Every time I lay down in bed, I could feel him on top of me, often even inside of me. It freaked me out. I didn't know what was happening. It was agony, and I wanted it to stop. Then I could hear discussion we would have, how I was the only woman he ever wanted, and that it has always been me. I couldn't explain any of it, and I thought I must be going mad. And why am I thinking about him that way? A few weeks passed, and I went to the Facebook birthday, and I sent birthday wishes out anyone on the list. I work through Facebook and sometimes do this to reach out to people that I network with or clients and etc. That day he was on the list. I literally sent him birthday message to everyone on the list except him. I hovered over his name, contemplating if I should send him a message or not. Don't go there. Don't open that Pandora's box. It is better if you two don't message, my mind said. At the same time, my thoughts also went, don't be silly. You just message a bunch of people. Most of them you have never even met. Him you kind of know. Why wouldn't you wish him a happy birthday? There is nothing there. So I went ahead and wished him happy birthday. It was the only time I initiated conversation. I stop here for a moment to explain, because I know many of you, when their twin happens to have a birthday, we are wondering should or I shouldn't say happy birthday. I'm about to say that your soul knows what is the best to do. But I also want to have that you have a mindset to embrace and be so thankful that your soul is living right now in another human's body and you met your soul. Your spirituality came across like realizing that you're not just a human, that you're a soul. Soul that continues to live, soul that is energy, soul that is from the source. Be thankful that you met your twin flame. Today reading that story takes me very emotional, and not because I It's just the fact that when we deny what is good for us and what is important for us, when we come across with the twin flame, what we have to do, what we have to serve, and what makes us feel good, other souls come to our life to bring us closer to that. Or something will happen in our life that we realize now is the time. Now or never. And today's example is very simple for that, in that terms. And it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But that's why twin flame connection is very strong, because you're connected to the God, you're connected to the universe. And when we come across with our twin flame, we need to realize that now we are on a journey of serving. Now we are on a journey of doing what matters to us. It's not about this 3D. It's about following your path and trusting that everything will be okay. So I'm very thankful that she wrote this story to me today, because I think so many of you who are listening, realizing the more we deny, the more we're trying to stay in the same life, the more universe is calling us out through challenge and pain. Don't wait. Accept that you are on this journey today. So I continue. We responded, and for the next few weeks we were having light conversation via text again, every couple of days or weeks. All along I was still feeling the crazy energy that seems to get stronger. We talked about COVID, lockdowns, and how I miss going out sometimes just to dance. We should plan for that then, he responded. And I said that I can't go dancing with him. I'm married. He just got silent, super silent. No response for a week. And it felt super awkward when I reached out and probed. That's when things started to go crazy. Suddenly the discussion I was hearing prior started to play out in writing. By the way, it's 1:11 now, and I just looked at my phone. This is literally just the second time I'm checking the time since writing. Also, I was doing some other things in between, which is why so much time has passed. On 16/11/2021, he told me that he decided to tell me how he feels, and that he wishes he could just hold me in his arm, that most of the time he just pulls out of my pics and stares at them, wishing he could be there with me. I was gobsmacked. I started to ask a lot of questions, and then the entire conversation unfolded at a crazy speed. He told me that something happened to him on that very first day back in 2009 that changed his heart. That he has always had feelings for me and he wanted me, but tried to deny it for so long. He didn't want to cause trouble for me, and also he was scared that I would reject him. He would rather have me in his life this way than not at all. He too thought that the feelings would go away eventually. And he even tried not to have any contact with me, specifically the 3-4 years of complete silence. But it just made it worse for him. He couldn't stop thinking about me ever. I asked him about his previous relationships and other women, and he said that I was always special to him. He had only 2 relationships, and those were his only sexual partners as well. On the mother of his child, and then he was in a 3-year relationship with another woman. But he told me that he told her about me and told her that he was meant to be with me now. I couldn't believe it. I tried to push him away and shut things down, but at the same time I couldn't deny anything. I couldn't for myself deny my feelings. How could this be possible after 11 years and we only ever met twice in person for a short time. We were talking every single day now. He wouldn't let go and continued messaging me every day. Our texts were getting more and more intimate. On the 13th of December 2021, he told me officially that he loves me. He also shared with me his full intentions, that he would want me to leave my husband, that he wants me more than anything, and he will take me and my kids, and that I will always be there for them, and that he wants more kids with me. At the same time, I've been getting visions of us together as a family, and also in dreams, which I didn't tell him about. I saw us at the house together with my kids, and us in the pool with a little baby girl, and all of this just freaked me out more. How could I keep getting these visions with a man I barely know? I've never been obsessed or crazy like this about any guy. I also never got visions with any other guy, but he seems to trigger something inside of me, as well as my visions and spirituality, like real bad. I was always more logical and practical when it comes to love. Then the text started to get more sexual, despite all my objections that we haven't seen each other in years, that I had kids, that it doesn't make any sense, that we don't know each other. He made it very clear how he felt about me and how much he desired me. He also learned that he was actually on the asexual spectrum. He can't have sex with anyone unless he has feelings for them, which is why he only ever slept with 2 women. If he isn't feeling love, he simply can't get it up. And even further, he can't actually masturbate on his own. He doesn't watch ever porn or jerk off. Sorry for my language. He only can come when he is together with the person he loves, even if that is over a distance. So now we found ourselves in a position where he was hard all the time, because he was thinking about me but had no way to release it. I resisted engaging in sexting, phones, and sex for a really long time. But one day the frustration got too much and I caved, and it was an intense energy. I had a huge orgasm and release, and so did he, only via phone. I remember I was so high, I had a laughing attack after. I just couldn't help it. Yes, that's something I'm about to say, that sexual energy is very intense, very healthy, very important for twin flames. That ignites us in every aspect and heals our bodies. Sexual energy is not only what we think is that one-time pleasure, it's that what actually makes us alive. And once we understand how to do this energy, how to live with this energy, it's like a medicine for your body. I am working on this to put it together for men and women, in order to understand, to shift your mind what is happening in the world right now, where we think that sexual energy is, sleeping with as many people you want. What is this, or watching porn and all of that, and OnlyFans up and down here and there. I just wish, and this is my part of my mission as well, to teach and show it how important is the sexual energy for your body if it's done right, and how it's going to heal you, how it's your medicine. And with the right energy, it's the perfect thing you could ever have in your life, because I know many of the women who are listening to me, their sacral chakra, sexual chakra is so blocked. Pretty much they're having sex just because it's part of the marriage or part of the relationship or part of whatever, but it's not for them to ignite, and men for the same way. I continue from here. I also started to look into twin flames, a concept that I was introduced to me in 2020 after I started my business, and probably around the same time where we were in touch again. It was a guy I did an interview with who casually brought up soulmates and twin flames and their differences. I never heard about it before till then, and I thought it was an odd concept. I don't think I was truly convinced or believed in it, but I was non-judgmental towards his experience and knowledge. I didn't think about it afterwards, but after some time of communicating with my twin this way and all the feelings that came up, I remembered twin flames and something guided me to look into it. I was surprised to find out how much resonated with me, the experience. For the first time, something seems to be able to explain it. My twin is Christian, and I was raised as an atheist, but consider myself spiritual now. My spirituality has come a long way as well. I started to believe in the past lives a while ago, but now I know it's part of the Christian beliefs. Yet he mentioned once that maybe I know him before I met anyone else. He also sometimes sent me songs to convey his feelings, but the first song he ever sent talked about that maybe we met in a previous life. By March 2022, I got reading from someone who did past life regressions. I brought my twin forward and my husband without explaining anything much, and she straight jumped into my very first lifetime with my twin. She really accurately described the dynamics and said that we were twin flames, and that we've been on and off again throughout every single lifetime since. My husband, she said, was a soulmate who came into much later lifetime. She gave me some great exercises which I implemented, yet I still didn't 100% believe this entire twin flame thing. Since late 2021, I have been jumping in and out of the twin flame concept, feeling deep down like it's true, or am I either crazy or it just must be my twin flame? But then again going and doubting everything, doubting whether twin flame even exists and thinking that I am just filling my mind with it and making all of this up. Anyways, in the physical and 3D we finally met in January 2022. When I saw him, I got nervous and had crazy feelings. We went out, walked, talked, and had a dinner. I had intense urge to touch him. But my mind was totally hijacking me. I kept on thinking, this isn't happening. This can't be real. You're married, for crying out loud. At dinner, we held hands under the table, and he kept caressing my palm. I went to his hotel room as well, but didn't want anything to happen. He got very intense and made a massive declaration of love while being right in front of me, his body against me. I just closed my eyes. I couldn't take it. It was too intense and I froze. He ended up kissing me and I gave in to the kiss, still down mentally. Nothing further happened that first meeting. We got intimated when we met again in February for a few days. I couldn't stop wanting to kiss him and touch him. It was so intense, and when we did it, it just felt familiar in a way, like we have always been together. Also, while my husband and I never had issues with sex and had amazing sex with him, I could never look him in the eyes during sex, nor with any of my previous partners before. I always thought that was just a strange thing about me. I always struggled with verbalizing anything while I'm being intimated with a man. But with my twin, it was nothing like that. We had intense eye contact and I would actually crave to look into his eyes while he was inside of me. And also I've been able to speak and verbalize things about how it feels and what I want. After that, however, it became difficult to find another time to meet, and we scheduled for April. However, things started to spiral between me and husband, and after arguments and big discussions, I ended up telling him about the affair. It was a massive blow-up and really scary on so many levels. My husband used to have nightmares that I would have an affair with a black guy in our first 8 years of marriage. He always woke up angry and disturbed and would tell me about them. I never gave him a reason to worry though, and I was faithful for 12 years of my marriage. My twin, of course, is black. It was one of my first one of my husband's first questions, he couldn't believe it. And on top of it, he remembered telling him about my twin when I first met him at the train station. He actually could recall it. We entered a very dark period. We started seeing a counselor at the same time I still met with my twin in April, then in June, July, August of the same year. My husband wanted me to cut all ties, of course, but I just couldn't. I knew my heart and my soul that I couldn't. We were ready to leave our marriage in June, but in July my husband asked if there wasn't any chance, if we should try again. The worst thing ever, even just thinking about separation, is considering that I'm doing to my kids. I start crying every single time. I'm so scared of how they will take it and how it's going to impact their life. So I agreed to continue and trying, and we continued with a counselor. In April, when I saw my twin last that time, I asked him for time. I wanted no contact until the end of the year at least, so I could give some time for my marriage. He, of course, didn't like the idea, but agreed. However, we never managed to write each other for more than 10 days. I blocked him on social media and everything, but he always messaged again somewhere and never could not reply. He's also always on my mind. End of 2022, I decided to put myself out for misery and that I will leave my husband, but no concrete plans, as I don't want to lose my business, as I feel like I need to sort things out. Then 2023, me and my twin have been messaging regularly almost daily for the most part. We also argue a lot. I struggle when I feel he's withdrawing or not talking as much as etc. And he struggles with the fact that I'm still with my husband. I have even tried to run and break it off multiple times, but we always seem to get right back where we were. It's like a damn magnet. I can't get away. Now I haven't slept with my husband for months. I was still trying at the end of the last year, early this year, but would usually just start crying whenever we got started and would be in absolute agony. I don't want him to touch me anymore. And in July, I met my twin in 3D again. After almost a year, it was amazing. I never felt disconnected with anyone. And when we were intimate, I started to see blue light all around us, and then us going to the bottom of the ocean. It was unreal. We also would just lie in the tight embrace, kissing, or lips even just touching each other. What feels like forever. Again, not something I have ever done with anybody else. I can't explain it fully, but it's just so incredible. And I just always wanted to touch him. I now come to accept this, my twin flame journey, and that we are always connected no matter what. A feeling, honestly, always had. It seems like there's this time and space that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many years pass or where we are in the world of country, we will always find our way back. There have also been so many synchronicities in terms of numbers, animals, and his name literally haunting me. It is just unreal. But in the 3D, I'm still struggling. I'm still in marriage of 14 years from now, and I'm just feeling crazy energies and feelings and being all over the place. It has been feelings like everything is falling apart and breaking for a long time, and somehow I still try to hold on to it. I just want to come to a place of peace. I'm exhausted, and I know I keep myself stuck. Thank you so much. It was so beautifully written and very insightful. I believe many of you who listened felt many aspects over here. With the number-wise, it's a lot of 222 and 666 over there, which means it's time to focus on your alignment. Focus on your soul alignment. Align with your soul, ask what your soul wants, and align with it. Number 666 is for the focus, and number 222 is for alignment, union, alignment, which means align with your soul. I really liked the way it was written, and I found it's a lot to process, even though today's episode is already very long. I leave it out there, and if anyone of you have questions and want to ask and want to share, leave a comment, ask a question, and share. I'm just gonna jump into a couple of things that are coming up. As you know, on my Patreon, you can listen to previous group calls where we talk about it, and you can join monthly group calls. All the links are in bio. Our next group call will be on the 22nd of October. And if you are my Patreon supporter, you will also have a chance to win one consultation call with me. And on the 22nd of October, we will again raffle a next one for the free consultation. The Patreon support is $5.99, and that helps me to keep this channel alive, this journey alive, and bring in the stories like this. If you would like to share your story with me, it's twinflameawakeningjourney@gmail.com. You can write the same way, whichever way. I will read that on my podcast. We'll discuss about it like we did today and give an overview overall. Again, I want to say a huge thank you, because as many of you know that I am collecting money for my new computer that will be only for the Twin Flames. And so many of you have donated. I think I'm halfway there. Today, at the end of the podcast, those who are listening on YouTube will see the donations. I now call them investments, because I have a bit of an idea what I will give it back to those who invested into this journey. It's like a twin flame investment. And you will be always on my website, not your names. I will put only the initials. Will be on my website and on the YouTube channel as a main investors. So welcome to be the investor of your lifetime. And like I said, you can invest, or you can support this computer with $1, $2, or whatever you have. If you find that any of my work, what I do, what I give out is useful for you, helpful for you, feel free. And then, of course, those who felt after the story that they need to talk, they need to share, they need to get this energy out of them, twinflameawakeningjourney.com. You can book the session with me. We discuss, we talk, we release the energies, crying, feeling vulnerable, feeling lost, feeling lonely is all than welcome, because you need to get this energy out of you. And then the biggest news is that I am now planning the retreat, Twin Flame Awakening Retreat. That is going to be 4 days, or 4 nights, 5 days, most probably. And it will happen during the Shivaratri, which is end of February, beginning of March. I will start putting out the information on the website that you can sign up for it. We'll do exactly everything will be there. Breath work, yoga, meditation, Reiki, and also releasing the energies and so on and so on. I will put all of that information out. It will be only for 10 souls this time, so 10 people can join. And I will try to make the payment options that you can pay each month a little bit, or, I'll try to keep it as cost effective as possible. It's not for me to do any profit or anything. It's just to make sure that I cover all the costs and help you to experience what helps you to balance. And next thing is what I wanted to say. If you have problems on a website of booking, let's say you're in Europe and it doesn't accept the USD dollar and so on, I just want to say, write me a message and I will get back to you and we'll find the ways. Do not hold yourself back, because there are some issues. I don't know how to fix that yet. We'll do that in the future. And another thing is, because the channeling is the most effective way of getting the answers, and it's quite expensive. I also can offer you to install payments or whatever. I'm really here just for the fact that I try to help you. I try to give you this real guidance in a way of that you're getting there. And the money shouldn't be the one that is holding you back. So again, I'm here to tell you that we will find the ways, we will find the options. Please do not hold yourself back. I know how lonely it is. I know how painful it is. I know how hard it is. Please, really, get in touch with me. We have monthly group calls which you can join. I mean, it's great if you can support me on Patreon, because again, that will help me to devote more time and find more options. If you cannot, join my mailing list. I will send you, I make sure that there is some guidance for you. Please don't feel like you're feeling alone. Anyways, this is exactly what I wanted to say, that you are the gift. You are the gift of that journey, because I've connected with so many beautiful souls, seeing that we are shifting the world into the better place. World needs us, world needs our love, world needs all of that. I hope today you got some kind of insights. It was an absolute pleasure to read that journey, because you can see how long it can go and what is happening in between there. But don't forget to follow your soul's journey, what feeds your soul, because it will catch up with you sooner or later. And if you wonder if it will catch up with you to your other part, divine masculine, it will always. I started the podcast like this, we ended the podcast with that. Thank you so much for listening. If you like that, please like, subscribe. Every kind of energy you send towards my podcast is always more than welcome. And even if you disagree, I love that. In a way that we grow, we learn, and we evolve. You are a beautiful soul. Thank you. And I hope to see you soon.
Catch my head in the earthquake, collect my spine when my disc breaks, when my disc breaks. Catch my lungs, give me air, give me some peace, oh darling please, oh darling please. So